So Greg, since everybody wanted to have a round three of our interview, welcome back to the channel.
Hey, nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to have you as well. And I would say let's get right into it. For everybody who doesn't know Greg, I guess could you start with a little bit of a background on you, kind of like where you grew up, a little bit about your background, kind of how you got into the creative space in the first place, yeah.
So my name is Greg. I run a YouTube agency called Brandive. So yeah, we work with around like 15 plus clients at the moment. Of course, like varies, depends on the offer as that we have as well. But I started pretty much like 4 years ago. So it was during the pandemic. So not even 4 years, like it was maybe 3 and something. But I'm running my agency for let's say like 3 years right now. So yeah, I started it just to like make money because like sometimes people have these big ambitions, they want to do like crazy things. But I come from a family where there was like just 7 kids, 2 parents, 9 of us. So I never had like my personal money that was like just getting from my parents. So always I just needed to make my own money kind of. And that's why I got started with filmmaking. So that's kind of like what I started doing first. I was just doing some filmmaking, some gigs with like local businesses. Literally made maybe like $500 with like multiple projects. So not from like one video, it was like multiple projects. So didn't make much money from that. But then the pandemic hit, and because I wasn't able to, go out and like shoot videos anymore, I transitioned into the editing space. So I literally remember like when we had a conversation, and you basically helped me like get this first client, because like we literally had our first call, and then for this next 6 months, like I tried all the different business models. I didn't implement what you shared with me there, and I didn't get any clients. And then one day I was like, I'm tired of that. I tried literally everything. I was going on meetings with like local gyms, trying to sell them Facebook ads. I was trying dropshipping, Amazon FBA, wasted a lot of money, wasted a lot of time in the process. And then one day I decided I'm just gonna give it a go, see how that's gonna go. I know how to edit videos, so that's something that I can sell, during the pandemic. And yeah, I got started pretty much second day of starting the outreach. I got my first like interested potential client, and then he actually ended up becoming my client. So that's kind of like how it started, and from there, it was pretty smooth ride. I remember also like first thing literally that I did after I got this client is I came back to you and I was like, can you mentor me? Because like I implemented what you taught me. I got my first client and I was like, I just gotta learn more because I see it works. I see the proof of concept. Now I want to scale, like get more clients. So yeah, that's kind of like how it started. Since then, we got way more clients. Now we charge a lot more. So many things changed, but that's the story.
Yeah, that was man. Time passes by so quickly because for everyone who doesn't know, like Greg was kind of like the first person I have ever, so to say, coached, and really it was just me sharing everything I've learned up until this point. And looked like we both grew a lot over the last few years together. So it's very fun to see like all that progress. But yeah, walk us through the numbers now. So you started as like pretty much broke kid from Poland who managed to make like $500 from multiple projects, but not really even being able to crack 1K a month online. Where are you at now with the agency and everything?
Yeah, so consistently we've been able to hit like $35,000 a month. Some months were better, so like we had months closer to like $50,000. But yeah, like good thing is that we stay pretty consistent, so we don't have like this higher ups and like pretty high downs. Last year we made like well over $300,000. I don't remember exactly what was the number. So that's how it looks like. We have a team of 10 plus people. So it's also just a bit more than it could be possibly because, for example, I'd rather have like 4 or 5 part-time editors than 2 full-time just because we have a lot of clients. So this way we can like guarantee faster turnaround time because we basically, when we get 5 videos one day, we have 5 editors that can just edit that. So I have a team, and honestly, like right now, my agency pretty much runs on autopilot. So right now, I also came back to the position of sales, so I'm taking sales calls. But I even had a closer last year, and I literally, because I had my wedding in like July last year, and then honeymoon. I literally like didn't work for like a month or so, and the agency was still growing. So the common misconception people have sometimes is that they want to stay at like $5,000 to $10,000 a month mark just because they think it's gonna get worse when they scale, like more stress and stuff. It's actually quite the opposite. It's like the more money you make, the bigger your team is, the easier it is to run it really. So like right now I don't even have to do much and the agency will still grow because of that. So yeah, that's kind of how it looks like number wise.
Amazing. And what were the biggest challenges getting up until this point? Because obviously like it wasn't a smooth ride for anyone who's
Yeah.
watching, who's maybe in that position, right, where they may be making 500,000, hey, maybe even 5,000 a month, but they want to be in this position where you are right now, where you're, running like a 35, 40K per month agency with this huge team and working with all these great clients and getting them these results. Like, it can seem like such like something that's so far away. And like, I'm sure there were difficulties along the way. In fact, I remember there were, because I helped you through a lot of this journey. So yeah, can you walk us through like some of the biggest things, I guess, the biggest issues that held you back before you got that initial traction, and then also some of the bigger challenges you had along the way after you got it off the ground?
So the biggest challenge was there was many challenges along the way, because scaling agency can look like this dream business right now where I don't have to do much, I'm making a lot of money, we have amazing clients, like all of the things that you mentioned. Like this is true right now, but getting to that point, and even sometimes at this point, it still like comes with challenges basically. So I remember like my first biggest challenges when I was starting out is that because I come from Poland, also like I've never saw a lot of money in my life, because like my family, my parents are not rich, actually like far from that. So it was really hard for me to like, for example, charge higher prices. Like you probably remember that the first client that I had was literally like a few $100s. Or I had a client that paid me like $1,000, but I needed to make I needed to edit like 30 long form videos for him in a month. I needed to edit like 30 pieces of short form content for him in that month. All of that for this $1,000. And I thought it's good, because I thought like that's a lot of money. That's high ticket clients. So I was kind of like stuck with that. So first thing for me was really to just like package video editing into an offer that I can sell for high ticket. Because if you don't do it, if I wouldn't do it, I would be still editing videos for clients. Maybe I would charge a bit more right now, but still, like you cannot really scale if you just try to sell video editing. So that's the first thing. But then second biggest challenge is like how to actually get those clients consistently and get them to pay you this money. So like there's a lot of moving parts, because first thing is the offer. Like you need to have a good offer to even be able to get those like high ticket, retainers, for example. Then you need to know how to actually get people interested in that offer, like generate meetings, then how to actually sell them, then how to deliver, the service to them so they are happy and they want to stay with you, how to communicate, how to hire. Like there's a lot of these moving parts in the agency space that you need to kind of like master and just get better at. So that was the first challenge. Then like sales. I couldn't even speak good English at the beginning. It was really hard for me to even just come on the sales call and like talk to people in English and like sell them. But I knew I needed to do that in order to get those like higher ticket clients. So that was a big challenge for me. And I think I could be like way farther with my agency, but I had a lot of limiting beliefs at the beginning, and that's what's kind of like stopping me from scaling really. And then, another point that comes to my mind is just the team building part. Like I was stuck for a long time working 12 hours a day, and I know a lot of people also are in the same position, that they maybe have some clients for editing, but right now they really just have like 5 bosses and they spend whole days editing videos for them. And of course, that's like a starting point, but then learning how to actually build a team, how to delegate, how to put systems in place so that I don't have to edit the videos, create the thumbnails, upload the YouTube videos for our clients, come up with strategy, and just have my team do all of that. Like that's another big challenge that, I faced, that I needed to overcome. So yeah, there's just like a lot of small challenges along the way as well, but like talking about the main problems, that's probably going to be it.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think was like the main reason that you could overcome these challenges relatively quickly? Because like most people, they face a challenge like, oh, how do I hire my first team member? Or, oh, I'm working all this much, or, oh, I have these limiting beliefs. And then they get stuck with it for years, some people for a lifetime. So what made you be able to overcome these limitations so quickly?
I would say it really all comes down to just like working with people that were, further from me, and just like paying money to learn from them. Because that's really like when we started working together, as you remember, I got this first client for like a few $100s, and then, okay, you helped me get those like higher ticket people. And I could probably do it, but it would take me maybe a year to even like charge someone 1.5K per month, like 2K per month. And because, you showed me exactly like how to do it, I just went and did it, because like you already were doing that, those numbers in the past. Mm-hmm. When I was struggling with like, let's say sales stuff, like I just found a mentor, I paid him money, I learned and basically became better at sales. And I think where a lot of people just either think they can do it on their own, or think that what they are doing right now is just the best they can do. So also see a lot of people that are at like $2,000 to $5,000 per month mark, and they are just like satisfied with it, and they think subconsciously they need to think that it's like the best they can do because they are afraid of just like investing money into learning from someone. And right now, because for example, like I scale my agency, if someone comes to me for advice and like I got this, reply from a client, what should I say? Or like I have this problem, like I know all of that just because I went through it. And just paying those people before, like this is also, I learned because I was not afraid to like pay people to learn from them. And I spent tens of thousands of dollars, then on like mentors, courses, all of that stuff. But without it, I would be still making $2,000 to $5,000 a month as an editor, working 12-hour days pretty much. So that's really it, just like paying someone and then actually implementing that stuff, because to make the investment worth, like I need to work as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say.
Cool. And what would you say are like some of the best parts of like the fruits of the labor? Like how would you say your life changed in the most major ways, building a business? Because like I think a lot of people when they initially start off, let's just be like an agency or whatever it is, like a lot of times you have these pretty like surface level things that you want, so to say, like you want to have the cool car, whatever, this and that, and like those are all good. But what would you say have been like the biggest changes in overall like life enjoyment / like lifestyle that you've been able to make because of the fact that you're making like great income now from this business model?
Yeah, well, I think money and the freedom is really, it's really like the biggest fruit kind of that labor. So first thing, just being able to work and travel, like that's always something that I want to do. I'm still the person that I'd rather just sit at my desk and work, and when I travel, I'd rather just travel for like relaxation, vacation. But just being able to do that and really like come to some amazing places, like that's amazing. But also like the financial aspect, like can't forget about that, because I was able to buy the car that I really like. The thing is, as you mentioned, like when you get those first things, because like I got a car, I got an apartment, like city center. It's like once you get that and then you like make more money, you're not really like motivated by this stuff. So for example, even right now, I could buy like pretty much any car, I could lease any car I want, but I don't really want to do that, like, at this point. But like overall, for example, even being able to, whatever, like support my family or like close people to me, like that's really important for me because I'm kind of like a family man. I got married last year as well, and just being able to have my dream wedding and like, fund that without any help, like that's amazing. Being able to like even buy an apartment, in cash, like that's something that not a lot of people can do. And that's something that I was able to do because of that, agency that I have. So yeah, like it pays off for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's huge. I mean, the best part really is just like being able to take care of the people you love. Like even with me, right? Like I'm just flying out my entire family now to visit me here in Dubai for a week, and we're gonna have like all these fun experiences and all of that. And so like those are great, being able to have these great experiences with your loved ones. But I think not only that, but like once you have experienced the cool car, you bought your watch or whatever it is that you wanted, right? Then ideally you will shift your thinking more towards like, okay, how do I build like actual wealth from this instead? Like you ideally, once you have the success, a little bit of it, right, you don't just want to be rich forever. You want to transition to building out actual wealth. And like this year really I started thinking about this, like, all right, I'm going to buy like 1 or 2 apartments this year that I can rent out and like actually start building a portfolio, because like I also want to have like kids and a family and all of that, and like that's what's actually like really cool if you can build out this portfolio, buy these assets, and really just have enough passive income as well, that even if you don't work, like all your people are taken care of, like you're good, right? And I think that like buys just such a peace of mind that is really like something special, but
yes,
yeah, I think
and you need to have like
great points.
Exactly. And like you need to have some kind of like cash flow business to really think about that. But I totally agree, because even my plan for this year is kind of the same. Like I could go and buy $100,000 car, but I'd rather just buy an apartment, or something like that, or like invest those money to like build real wealth, as you mentioned. So yeah, like definitely.
Cool. And I wanted to also ask, like, in terms of the actual agency and the team side of things, that's something a lot of people struggle with. So you mentioned that you have a pretty big team now. Could you actually break down for everyone, like how does your team look like right now? Like who are kind of all the people, and also in what order did you hire everybody, and kind of at what stages of the business? Because I think this is something a lot of people will find very insightful. Because now you said over 15 clients, like, handling that is quite a lot of work. So yeah, how did you build out this whole infrastructure?
For sure. So it's really a combination of having a good team and then the right systems as well to kind of like support this team. So on the team side of things, how we have it structured is I started hiring by just following this principle of like buying back your time. So when I was doing the editing, and then I expanded my offer, I had this like YouTube offer already, but I was still like doing everything myself. And I noticed, well, editing takes the most amount of time from me, and I could dedicate that time towards, actually just getting more clients. So I wasn't afraid of like hiring an editor and like spending money, paying him money, because I knew that the time that I'm gonna buy back, I can then spend on just like acquiring more clients. So it's easy as that. So I hired an editor first. Then, when we got more clients, I was doing a lot of thumbnails. I hired an amazing thumbnail designer. Also, I just like hired people that were better than me at doing those things. Then, I started seeing that I'm just like spending the whole day kind of like managing the team. So I was just like uploading the videos, talking to clients, responding to my team. So I then hired, at that time, he was kind of like a customer success manager, you can call him. So like he was just kind of communicating between the team and the clients, doing some work on the delivery side as well. And that's kind of like how how I started to build this out. And then once we got more clients that were taken care of, I was expanding my kind of like marketing and sales department as well. So got a person, that was taking care of the email side of things, because we were doing a lot of cold emails in the past. Like we still do them, but back then it was like our main source of calls and clients. I hired a closer as well, just kind of like, once I spent a lot of time basically doing sales calls, I just hired a closer. So it made it like pretty simple. I just like followed this rule, kind of like started buying back more time. Even right now, for example, I just hired a personal executive assistant. So that's someone that can just take care of all the admin stuff for me personally. And even if my car breaks down, I'm just gonna let her know, like, give me, like call someone, like the mechanic, set an appointment. I'm just gonna, drive the car, whatever. And like she puts everything in my calendar. So I'm kind of like just started by following this rule, and that's how I do things right now as well. And so on the team side of things, we have right now like a head of operations, COO. I don't know exactly how to call that. And then basically kind of like a customer success assistant. So, my CEO kind of like overlooks everything. I could even call him a CEO, really, just because of the amount of like, responsibilities that he has. Then I have a customer success assistant. So it's something like manager, but, there's less responsibilities, I would say. So he pretty much just communicates between clients and the team, and makes sure that all the work, all the videos that we create for our clients are on time, and just kind of overlooks the delivery side of things. Then we have a team of editors, team of designers for editing, designers for thumbnails, a team of like a person for YouTube SEO as well. So like just putting the description tags, coming up with the titles. I have an assistant as well that is just like company assistant. So whatever is like there needs to be done in the company, she's there. She's also doing quality control for the videos. And then on the marketing and sales, right now I'm the closer, and we have a setter as well. And then and cold email specialist that is taking care of all our cold email campaigns. And because of that, like right now, literally the only thing I have to do is just make decisions, and on the sales side of things, I'm the closer, so I'm taking the sales calls. But before I had a closer, so I didn't have to do pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And you mentioned that, like a little bit of time ago, like the main source of the way you got your clients was email. And I think cold email is a great way for most people to start with. So yeah, like I guess first we could go a little bit into like, what would you recommend to someone who's like brand new to outreach and cold emails in general? Like, what would you say are the first kind of steps to take? And also, can you walk us through a little bit, or like give us some insight on like how many calls were you booking at kind of the peak from emails every month, and like how many emails were you guys sending out every month? Because I think a lot of people like underestimate the effort that's and the volume that's required to actually get results. So yeah, can you walk us through that?
Yeah, so cold email is still, from all the outbound methods, my favorite, just because you can really automate that. If you're sending Instagram DMs, like maybe there are some softwares there, but I guess they won't work that well. But with cold emails, you literally just need to create campaign. You can test a lot of things, the subject lines, the body of the emails, all of that stuff. And then you literally just need to have a list of leads that you upload to that. and it runs automatically, sending emails, sending follow-ups. You can just then go in, like, manage the replies, book calls with people. So it's really easy, because like you set a campaign, and once you test different things, you find a winning campaign. Only thing you have to do is literally just have someone that will create this lead list for you, and you just upload the leads there, and it runs automatically. But yeah, you need to do big numbers there, because cold email is really a numbers game. Of course, you need to improve, try to improve every number, so like the reply rates, the open rates, all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, like, you need to send good volume. So right now we're sending around, I think like we're reaching around 2,000 new people every single month. So yeah, that's probably around it. And it really varies, like the amount of calls that we book, because like sometimes we test new campaigns, new angles, new leads, but we've been able to like pretty consistently book around, I think, 20 calls from emails, sometimes a bit less, and like 15 to 20. Also, the number of emails kind of varies a bit, but that's kind of like what we want to do. Right now, we're transitioning more also to like inbound, because we start to get a lot of like, calls, clients from YouTube, my small YouTube channel, from like even Instagram, all of that stuff. So right now we're kind of transitioning into that, because the calls from YouTube are like really easy to close, and that's what we do for clients. So we also just do it for ourselves right now. But yeah, that's kind of like how it looks like on the cold email side. And that's kind of what you need to do. Just set an account. We use Instantly to send emails. Have a lot of domains. But if you're starting out, like, you can buy just like 3 domains, 3 accounts per domain, because you cannot send really more than like 30 emails a day per account. And once you set it up, you just need to come up with new campaigns, have someone come up, like, create those lead lists for you, and really just like manage your replies. So like, when people reply and they want to see more info, just get them to book a call, and that's really it. So I'm a big fan of that, because it's way more automated than like social media outreach will ever be. So maybe, LinkedIn, there are some automations, but other platforms not really. So we need to have someone actually doing that. And here, like I said, it runs automatically, just like booking you meetings.
Awesome. Yeah. And so just for everybody who missed out on it, like, when we are talking about cold emails, like, we are not talking about sending them from your personal Gmail account. We're talking about like using actual software that was created for this. Again, multiple domains, because, well, most of us start out by actually just sending emails from our Gmail account, and exactly, that only takes you so far. So if you want to take it seriously, if you want to join the big boy league, then you gotta get on that. And what other sources do you use right now for getting your clients at the moment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as mentioned, like, my personal brand is kind of like big. So I started creating some like YouTube videos, and we got, like, even in the last 30 days, we got like 4 clients out of that. And we don't even book that many calls from it, but the quality of calls is like really high. And when people come from YouTube, it's like really easy to close them. So I'm really bullish on like scaling my personal brand. And we actually also have a newsletter. It's a good source of calls for us right now. So every week we have like an email list. Every week we send like 3 emails, and pretty much every time I send an email, I get at least someone like interested in learning more about like what we do. So that works great for us as well. But that's pretty much it, because we are doing a lot of stuff. We are doing Twitter outreach, Facebook outreach. I don't know if like we use any other platforms, but we kind of like lately just transitioned. We noticed that cold email works best, is the most automated, doesn't require much of our time, and then we were bullish on the personal brand. And that's really what we do, because like also like we just split our focus to Finn back then with all of those platforms. So right now it's just cold emails and the personal brand.
Mm-hmm. Okay, amazing. Cool. Now, to before we finish off, I want to ask, like, what would be, I guess, your best piece of advice, or what would you recommend to somebody who's in kind of your situation a few years ago when you were kind of more so starting out, if they are trying to actually build a team and, just go from having to work all the time, being this overworked kind of like freelancers, or like, content agency owner who's really more just like a glorified freelancer, to an actual business owner? Because I think you have done that exceptionally well. There isn't that many people, in this space, in the like YouTube agency space, who have managed to build out the kind of team you have, and who's getting the kind of results you guys are getting for your clients. So yeah, what would be your best pieces of advice for someone?
Well, I would actually say, it's to invest in a mentor, whether it's a, program, a mentor, because without that, like, I won't be able to hit those numbers. And I don't want to sound like I'm just trying to sell people something, but really it helps a ton, like it helps massively. Because, for example, like when we were working back then, I could literally just message you and say, this client replied this, what should I say? Or like, he's interested in booking a call but has this objection, what should I say? And even like those small things, not even talking about the big things, like actually helping get better at sales, or like get those, sales calls booked, or like deliver client results. But even like those small things, like it can speed up the whole process. And just trying to figure it out yourself will only take you so far. Of course, you can say there's a lot of free content out there, but it's not that easy to find actual like good content and then implement it in the right way. And also, like, sometimes I see videos about like cold emails for Facebook ads agencies, and the process might be similar, but it's still going to be a bit different than like say content offers, for example. So that's probably what I would recommend, is to just like speed up this process and make it quick. Just like don't be afraid, because that's really what helped me get to this point.
And what about someone who doesn't have the money right now? Like, I think a lot of people like the idea, and I agree with you. Like, if you have even just a few grand to your name, how else are you going to spend it in a way where you will make a better return from it than if you can 2x, 3x, 5x your income, right? Like, there's not that many better ways to do it. Obviously, I don't recommend, like, especially if you're living on your own, you have expenses, like, I don't recommend you to, like, spend all of your money so that you will go hungry next week. Like, obviously not. But if you have like a little nest egg you're sitting on, where else are you going to invest it where you get a better return than putting it into your actual skills and leveling up your skills? I personally never had better return than that either. But yeah, what about anyone else who maybe only has a $500, or maybe only $1,000, right? And they have expenses, whatever. Like, do you have any recommendations for them in terms of how? I guess let's frame it from this way. Like, how, if you had to save up $5,000 as soon as possible, like, what would you do it? What would be your game plan, like, in the next 30, 60 days?
Sure. So definitely main focus will be just on selling. So I would, like, once I decide what is the offer, what's the niche, all of that stuff, I would just focus on selling. So just trying to reach as many people, because the biggest mistake that people make is they don't really put in the work. And it's not a sexy advice, but that's really like what I see, is that what separates people that made it in the like agency space from those that didn't is the amount of work they put in. So also just be smart, because like you gotta like keep learning, of course. So while I would just focus on doing outreach, so for example, I would just set the cold emails, because it really doesn't cost more than like $100 to set it all up, and had like 9 accounts that you can send emails from. Then you can just follow even like free content that there is on YouTube, come up with this like cold email campaign, and I would just send a lot of that, because people just cannot really stay consistent. So that's also why I'm a big fan of cold email, is that if someone is trying to just manually find 50 leads and message them on Instagram, they're only gonna be consistent for like 3-5 days, and then they're gonna give up. That's a lot of time what I see. With cold emails, it's just like way easier to stay consistent also. But I would definitely focus on just sending as many messages as possible, because really there's this saying like volume negates lack, and that's true. If you send 1,000 messages, there's literally no way that you're not gonna get a positive reply. Even if your message is the worst one, if you hit someone at the right time, because when you hit 1,000 people, you will hit someone at the right time, they will reply and they might be interested. So definitely that, just keep learning. So like every aspect of like, firstly learn the cold emails, but then try to get better, 1% better every day, basically. So just like learn sales, learn, service delivery, learn all of that stuff. Focus on just getting those first clients in. And once you have those clients, don't be afraid to use that money to scale even more. So yeah, that's probably what I would do. And in the 90 days, you can really, just by doing that and staying consistent, you can easily get those first clients and like scale to $3,000-$5,000 a month, because that's what I did when I was starting.
Yeah, and really to save up 5K, like, obviously, like, I'm not saying it's easy. Like, I think it's actually kind of hard to save up your first 5-10 grand because you've never done it, probably, right? Or the thing is, like, if you don't have that right now, probably the reason why is because you either don't have the skills yet, or you're really bad with managing your money. So something has to change if you want to change your situation as well. So I'm not saying it will be easy, but even if you're just doing 1.5, 2 grand, and like you can minimize your expenses as much as possible, you can save it up rather quickly, and then you can reinvest it back into yourself. Great. All right, Greg, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Now, for everybody who's watching this and who's thinking like, all right, this, is very interesting. I want to learn more about how I could build a similar agency to Greg as well. You will be able to go ahead and actually book a call with us in the description below, where you can actually talk to me directly, and you will have a chance to see whether you would be a good fit for our program, Grow Creatives. Now, Greg is actually our head coach now, since the last calls we had, or since the last videos we had on the channel, which is very fortunate. So you literally have the chance to learn directly from Greg and me, and get directly kind of mentored by us, and implement our systems or processes. Get help Greg, get help from Greg to set up your email systems, all of that stuff. So if that's something you are interested in, go ahead and make sure to book a call below this video. And that is pretty much it. Thank you, Greg, for coming on.
Thank you.